going to be good stuff if we get in the Bible today. Wow. I'm pretty excited about this time of year. I mean, it's hard not to be thrilled with all the things that are taking place, especially with kids singing and getting all dressed up. And then I made a little stop by in the cafe and saw that we have hot cocoa and Christmas cookies. I mean, it's a good day. It's an amazing day. But we're going to talk about some stuff, and I want to show you some things that make me smile. And I think my goal and hope is that you'll smile when you see some of these. So here's my sermon intro today. It's pictures of your trees. Thank you. I sent some requests out, and some of you sent me your trees. So we wanted to show you a few of the Christmas gateway trees. This is Stacy and I's here. I spent a lot of time on this tree, watching Stacy do every single ornament. And I just wanted to show you that then we have some creative Grinch trees. The tip is kind of turned over. I like that we have a variety of different kind of trees here in Gateway Land. And this one couldn't quite be put up because it's so large. I think it started at 14, and did we end up getting that down to 9? Tom, what was the final verdict on that one? But 9 foot. So nice job on 10 foot. And we have a marital argument already happening at church. There we go. This is under the tree of, I think, Chris and Ron and Bubs. This is baby Jesus in their train that's going around their tree. Nice touch. Nice touch. Nice touch. Yeah, then here's Chris. This is Chris and Rhonda's tree, looking good. Very nice. And then I think we have one more. Yeah. This is not in our neighborhood. I found this online and just had to put that in there. And I looked for about a half hour at, was that CGI? Is that real? Is that tarp paper? Like, how did they do that? And it actually looks pretty real. So I don't know. I'll leave that up to you. But what brings you joy? What makes you smile? Is it Christmas trees? Is it lights on the tree? How many today, and I'm just going to call you out, Grinches, don't even have a tree? You don't have to raise your hand. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. Sometimes I know there's logistical reasons why not to have a tree, but today, have you ever experienced one of these experiences? You're a family, and you're going out on a hike to find the perfect tree. Now, in Salem, here in the Willamette Valley, we have Christmas tree farms like within 5-10 minutes, and they're beautiful, great trees. And you can get the nobles and all the firs and all the different kinds you like. But if you're a good old-fashioned like tree hunter, and you go up into the woods, and you get that permit for $10, whatever it is, and you go hunting, and you go 3-4 miles up into the mountains, and it's raining, and it's muddy, and it's snowing, and it's gross, and you finally get to that spot, and you have arguments with your kids and your spouse about what's the perfect tree and how tall and all those things that are going on, and then finally you narrow it down, you finally choose the first tree, the one you're going to cut down, and then you look around to say, who's got the saw? And you're 4 miles up the hill, and you realize you left the saw back in the truck. Has this happened to you at all? You're missing the saw. There's moments like this at Christmas where you forget the saw, and you're missing something, and you're hoping for something, and then it just doesn't happen. And then this missing thing, like a saw to cut down a tree, it causes some kind of tainted experience. And then after that experience, you never go up into the forest to cut down a tree. You just get a 3-footer on Amazon that's delivered to you, and it's fake. I mean, we respond to poor experiences. We respond to tainted experiences. We respond to crisis because sometimes we miss the saw. We miss the opportunity. We miss something in that journey. I wanted to show you a picture here in a moment of my grandson because he and his mom and dad went Christmas tree hunting just a couple days ago. And look at the joy on that boy. His parents put him in charge of the saw. And when you're not even 2 years old, I know that might be a little dangerous, but in the Schaub family, we teach our kids young to carry dangerous things. But if you were able to zoom in on this, you'd see little Baylor, and he's just so full of joy. He's so full of I get to carry the saw. I get to hold the saw. Mom and Dad, we did not forget the saw. We're going to be able to cut this tree down. I don't know where you're at today, if you're full of hope and full of joy and full of peace, or you just got a little bit today. But I want to remind us this morning as we get into it with our series, Down to Earth, that Jesus came down to earth, and when he came down to earth, hope came down. and peace has come down, and joy has come down. Now, I'm not illustrating that with a ladder today, but I did see that the clip last week of the peace ornament on top of the ladder already had like 1,000 views this last week. So it's just to illustrate that we don't have to reach for peace. We don't have to just kind of hope that we can get up there for the hope or the joy. Because when Jesus came down in the form of a baby in a manger, hope, peace, joy, and love came down. And today our theme, our focus is on J-O-U. And so all of the next spellings and all the next slides that you see are incorrect. I apologize for that. But feeling of great pleasure and happiness. This is the definition of joy. Synonyms would be like delight, great pleasure, joyfulness, jubilation, triumph, rejoicing, happiness, glee. All these things go with joy. And it is my hope that you already have this downloaded in your life. But if you're maybe absent of joy or feeling a little low in the joy quotient, that when you walk out of here today, it's going to rise and you're going to experience and feel a little bit more joy. So it's Joy Day, and it's a happy day, and it's going to be a good time to be at Gateway. I want to start before we get into some scriptures and just kind of do a little intercultural, international spin and see how bilingual, trilingual, quadlingual we are. So here's a couple different joys in different languages. But I'm going to say joy in a language, and then I want you to tell me what language, what country that derives from. All right? And many of you know that I have perfect intonation, and I apologize for kind of chopping these up and messing this up. But let's start with this one. Alegria. Alegria. Alegria, thank you. See, if I need to be corrected, please correct me. That is Spanish or Portuguese. Alegria, right? How about this one? Joie. French, nice, nice. How about Freude? German, good. Gioia. Yeah, so you just sound Italian. It just makes kind of sense. Gladia. Gladia. Swedish. Yeah, glad. Yeah. This one is probably the most difficult, but you probably pick up on it pretty quick. Yorokobi. Yorokobi. Japanese. There you go. So now you have gone to language school today, and now you have joy in different languages. Do you know that in the Bible, in the King James Version, that joy appears 165 times? This is not a minimal, small, yes, it's only 3 letters, but it's a big topic in the Bible. I want to start by dropping some famous, popular passages that have joy in them. You probably have heard them before. I'll start in the Old Testament, and then we'll go new. And the first is in Nehemiah 8:10. Nehemiah 8:10 says, "The joy of the Lord is your strength." Isn't that good? Joy is not emotional fluff, it's spiritual muscle. The joy of the Lord is your strength. You want to build muscle, you want to have the good vibe, you want to have the good virtue, you want to have some things working in your life, get the joy of Jesus. Get the joy of the Lord in your life, because that will bring the strength that you need. How about Psalm 16:11? In your presence there is fullness of joy. Man, I like that. When there's God's presence, there's a fullness of joy. Joy doesn't come from outcomes, it comes from his presence. It's not what you stir up and do. It's not that you hit the perfect shopping list or that you nailed the song or whatever. It's that it comes in his presence. That's where the fullness of joy is. But the most famous and popular Bible verse when it comes to joy probably lands in the New Testament in the Gospel of Luke. It was read today by Quinn, our 4-year-old, and it's Luke 2:10. And I would like to invite you to read this with me today. I bring you good news of great joy that will be for all the people. Friends, one of the cool things about Christmas and Jesus' birthday is that we bring presents to him, or we should, but when Christmas came, Jesus brings presents for all. And this good news of great joy, not partial joy, little joy, small joy, it is great big joy, overwhelming joy, is available to us. And so Luke 2:10, you're going to hear it a few different times today, but I want to provide a working definition for us today about joy that doesn't come from Merriam-Webster dictionary. And so this is my robust biblical definition of joy. It's kind of big, it's kind of long. I'll leave it up on the screen if you want to take a picture, but this is what I would say joy is. Joy in the Bible is a deep, durable, God-given state of delight, well-being, and gladness that arises from God's presence. God's saving actions and God's future promises. And here it is, catch this, regardless of present circumstances. You see, that's the difference between probably happiness and joy. When our circumstances don't quite go right, we're not happy. When circumstances are right or wrong, joy still can be present. Amen? And so this is my definition for joy. Joy comes down to earth. A few things I'd like to just kind of drop on you this morning before we get into some passages is what I'm learning about joy. As a guy who's been a pastor now, and this is my 26th Christmas as a pastor, bringing creative ways to share joy. How do you do that? Well, how do you still have Christmas? How do you still celebrate? It's like the greatest subject, Jesus, and the joy of Jesus. It's amazing. But joy is heaven's interruption in our exhaustion. Anybody tired, weary, worn out, a little feeling just kind of not all the way there? Would you receive joy's heavenly interruption in your life today? Joy isn't something you feel, it's someone you meet. Now I'm starting to kind of get into some land that maybe you're not comfortable with because we'd like it to be a feeling. Like, isn't it just a feeling? Like, I have it or I don't have it. Love is a feeling. Joy is more than a feeling, it's a point of view. Joy is a focus before it's a feeling. And that's why we got to stop chasing the feelings. I'm chasing this feeling. No, joy, you got it. If you got Jesus, you got it. On board. Joy. Sometimes, though, we need to unwrap it and discover it afresh again. Joy is not the absence of sadness or the presence of the spectacular. Joy is in the bad and the good. Joy is no matter what's happening in life. And I was wondering today, is joy, because this is a question I'm asking myself, is joy my default response? Is joy your default response? Now, when I say that, if something happens to you, how do you respond in that situation? For example, I was driving down Idlewood just this week, and I was going, I thought, slow enough to avoid the motorcycle cop that was across the street at Emmanuel Lutheran with his lights then that came out onto Idlewood and then came right behind me and then pulled me into our Gateway parking lot. Yes, Pastor Greg was busted at his office, at his church, right here by our dear Salem Police Department. I pull in the truck, and he pulls in right behind me because I think that's the right way to do it. And I'm like, I'm blocked. I'm stuck. I'm not getting out of this one. And he proceeds to say, license, registration. Well, I got right out of the truck. I just got out and was just, hey, this is my church. Hey, good to meet you. And I was just kind of being the joy guy, even though I was like, please, no, please, no. And he's like, sir, please get back in the vehicle. Calm your joy down. He's like, just get back in there. I said, well, this is my office. I go to church here. This is my spot. Well, long story short, we got to know each other. It was a great visit, and he gave me a very nice, stern warning. So obviously, I was a little more joy-filled when I didn't get the ticket for $300 or whatever it is for going 9 miles over the speed limit down Idlewood during school hours. That was the problem. It was during school. Yeah, I know, Pastor. That is the most judgment I've ever felt by Gateway. Let's protect the children. Yes, let's be safe. But if I could just argue for a quick moment, like I tried to do with the police officer, it was after school had started. There were no students. There was no kids. There was no pedestrians. There was nothing happening along Idlewood. But that doesn't matter. If the lights are flashing, you must go under 20 miles per hour. Do not go 29 miles per hour in a school zone. Hi, my name is Greg. I'm a speeder. I apologize publicly in front of you all. But I had a choice because I knew that I was going to be speaking and talking about joy on Sunday just a few days later. Would that ruin my day? And for some of us, when you get pulled over, it does. Or if you're arrested and put into prison or jail, it does. But we must maintain a default response of joy no matter what. And so I was not trying to be flippant, but I was trying to be responsive in a way with a police officer of like, thanks for pulling me over, sir. And I'm sorry that I went too fast. And I was trying to just be present, and I tried to maintain a composure and a posture of I'm still happy no matter what. It's okay. I'll deal with it. I'm wrong. I messed up. Versus what I would like to do most often is like try to argue it, get out of it, charm, I'm sorry. Hey, I work here. I didn't do that. This time it was like I owned it, and fortunately I got out of it. But no matter what, could we have a default response of joy? Like even when something spills on you. You've been at a Christmas party this Christmas, and you already you spilled a little something on your blouse or your pants. So this happens to me on a regular basis, and I'm kind of, you know what makes me happy? Cheetos make me happy. Like I love Cheetos, but the problem with Cheetos is once you start going with Cheetos, you can't stop. And then after you're getting down a few, all that little orange stuff gets on your fingers. And then you're like, what am I going to do with that? I'm stuck. So all I want for Christmas is not my two front teeth. All I want for Christmas, this is what I'm asking Stacy for. I'm going to show you a picture. This is what I want for Christmas. Cheeto pants. These are cool as pants. They've got the orange fluffy, and you just can wipe them right there, and there's no issue. Let me show you. I got another picture of these. These are the official Cheeto pants, cargo style, right there. My point is this, friends. No matter what spills on you, no matter what happens to you, no matter your circumstances or your situations in life, could you have a default response of J-O-U? We've got to have the joie. We've got to have the freude. We've got to have the alegria. We got to have the joy no matter what. And sometimes you just look around, like look at the person to the left or the right or the person next to you or the person you live with, and sometimes it just doesn't have a joy look to it. And I want to encourage us that we can have a joy that comes up from within and then comes out in radiant fashion. I'm not talking about joy boy, fake boy. I'm talking about a real, genuine joy boy. That it's just like, I got it. Like I'm all right to say this. On my tombstone, I know there's a little bit morbid at Christmas, but let me just, if anybody just wants to know what, he was a joy spreader. That's what, I want to be a joy spreader. Now, I know we're only a few years out of COVID, so I probably shouldn't say things like that. But I mean, what are you spreading? What are you giving away? What are you infectious with? What are you contagious with? What are you giving away to people? And I'm not talking about just enthusiasm. And I'm not just talking about happiness. I'm talking about a depth of joy, a durable joy, no matter what the situations are. Well, you turn to your neighbor and say, he's talking to you right now. All right, let's get down to it. I got 3 things I want to share with you this morning, and then we're going to cut you loose to your Christmas plans and your middle of the December month, Advent season. The first really thing I want to share with us today, and this is going to be a progression, is that joy meets us in the mess. And this is a hallelujah moment because that manger scene and that trough and those animals and all that, man, joy landed there, which is a good picture for me and a reminder for me that it doesn't have to show up in the Ritz-Carlton. It doesn't have to show up in the perfect ambiance. It doesn't have to be in the perfect zip code. Joy meets us in the mess. Jesus came down into real life, not ideal life. Anybody got a ideal life just happening? Like everything's working all the time. It's just everything's so good. I mean, 24 hours a day, so good. Like that's just not realistic. In real life, there's messes. I mean, if we took the rest of the day and just started with the front row and worked to the second row and the third row, we wouldn't even, by the fourth row, it'd still be like noon. It'd be like, there's so many things. So many messes is what I'm trying to say. Jesus didn't come into a perfect world. He came into a pressured, overlooked, and overcrowded one. Joy meets us in the weight, not in the ease. You're in a season right now and you're feeling a little heavy. I don't mean like physically heavy because you're eating more gingerbread cookies like me. I'm talking about a heavy emotion, a heavy mental, this is hard. This is your first Christmas without that loved one. It's your first Christmas that you're not going to have that special person around the table. It's just like, I just feel heavy. I feel down. And in the challenge and the crisis and the mess of that situation, Jesus meets us to ease us, to help us. This is why it's so good to know Jesus, friends. Like, you can know some good people. Like, do anybody know any good people? And maybe you do. But does anybody know the greatest person that ever walked this land and lived and died and rose for us again? I mean, that's really why it's good to know Jesus. James 1:2 serves as my passage for this point of joy meets us in the mess. In James 1, it says, "Consider it great joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you experience various trials, because you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance." Now, I'm using several verses and passages that'll highlight this theme of JOY. But this one in particular, when you talk about joy meeting us in the mess, is a good one. And it's a reminder for me to consider it great joy. Now, you could say consider it joy, and that probably suffices. But why does James, the author here, have to say and add great joy? Because I think we need a greater joy quotient in our life. I think we need a greater consideration for something so as important as joy. In the life and the times and the crisis and the challenges and the ups and the downs and the triumphs and the trials and all the things that are going on in your life, do you consider it great joy? In another translation, it says, consider it pure joy. Whoa. How about considering it pure, great joy? Whatever is happening, because it's on purpose to help build endurance in our life. And I'm not going to look at you as a weakling or as someone that's anemic or someone that's just pretty just pathetic when it comes to endurance. So I'll just let you look at me, because I'm pathetic and weak and lacking in endurance. And I'm glad that God puts trials and situations in my life, in my messes, because it's hopefully helping me to grow stronger, not muscle, but stronger ability to trust in Jesus. Because otherwise, we are pretty weak, feeble. Now, we come across looking like we're all fly, all good, all the time. But if you take a little deeper look, like do an x-ray on your soul, it's like, struggles. And so then how can we grow and get stronger and build perseverance and endurance and then character? Through trials, through challenges, through messes. It's like the light breaking through the darkness. This is what joy does. Joy doesn't wait for ideal conditions. It pierces through the gloom. This is why I love joy. It's just like right through, cuts right through the darkness. Joy even in illness. Joy even with disobedient children. Joy even in a challenging job situation. Joy in relational tension. Joy even with. Man, if we could just get this one, then I wouldn't have to keep preaching this one. But there's such great job security with this one because we don't get this one. But if we could have a whole lot more JOY, a whole lot more often, we'd be a lot better people and a better witness to the world. But we're going through illness and disobedient children and challenging jobs and relational tensions and all the different things of financial upheaval, and we just don't, as Christians, Christ followers, have a witness of still joy in it. And I'm suggesting we can. Consider it a great joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you experience various trials. Well, that's the first one. Let's see if we can get a little bit happier with the second one. Second one is joy grows where we make room. Joy grows where we make room. Friends, listen. When we welcome Christ into our life, into our situation, into our circumstances, joy expands. When we don't invite Christ into our situations, joy shrinks, shrivels. But I would encourage us to invite Christ into our trials, into our situations, into our illness, into our challenges, and watch how joy has a ripple effect of just getting brighter, bigger, and ultimately what I mean is Jesus gets glorified bigger in the situation. Foch, I feel like it's just you and me today, and that's okay, because you and me need to hear this message, but hopefully there'll be a couple others that will jump in at some point. Bethlehem had no room, but Mary made room. Joseph made room in a difficult situation. And look the joy that came. He would get a son. And though it was culturally a very weird situation, Joseph listened to the angel, and Joseph then followed through, and he got Mary out of that over here to Bethlehem into a manger situation, and it was messy, but there was growth because he made room for the miracle. He made room for the impossible because he obeyed. Now, then there's a whole other message right there. When we do not delay and when we immediately obey, it leads to a miracle. This is what Joseph's life is. I mean, I've been trying to put myself in Joseph's shoes, sandals, whatever he wore. It's like, bro, how'd you do that? And then the shepherds made room. And the people last in line culturally. Affluence, low, job position. Like, I mean, there's white collar, blue collar, and then what's below blue collar? Like, what's like, let's go poverty and just like shepherds. But the people last in line became the first to hear joy's arrival. That's interesting, upside down kingdom kind of stuff. Wow. When we make room, joy can land. Joy rises wherever Christ is welcomed, even in small, ordinary spaces. Please, friends, invite him in. Invite joy in this Christmas. Romans 15:13 says this, may the joy of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him. What's great about this passage, Apostle Paul is writing to the churches in Rome, you get three of the Advent themes here, right? Hope, joy, and peace. You get the things we've been talking about. Hope, peace, and joy. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him. As you make room for him, watch how these things begin to come up in your life. Joy grows where trust is planted. So trust him. Psalm 30, verse 5. Let me spend a moment on this one here. It's a familiar one that sometimes we're at first like, relate too much, and then don't necessarily relate to the second half, but the second half is brilliant. Weeping may last for the night. Oh, conjunction junction. What's your function? But joy comes in the morning. Hallelujah for somebody. You got a little night season going on. Like, I'm not in the morning. I'm not in the joy. Where is it? It's a night season. And this night season seems like it's been 4 months. 4 years. You know, for the people of Israel, it was 400 years of silence. 400 years of night time. This is how the Old Testament finishes right there after Malachi. I mean, the nighttime is years of silence. And not just a year or two, 400 years. Then there's oppression under Rome. And then there's spiritual exhaustion. Like the people, what they do for 400 years, it's just nighttime. It's weeping. Oh, but get ready. Morning's coming, friends. And then an angel shows up and speaks. And then a teenage girl says, yes. And a child is then born. And everything changes. The night will test you, but morning tells you who God is. So stay in it if you're in a season of night, a season of dark, and know that joy will come in the morning. And I trust and believe it'll take a little less than 400 years, but lean into the testing because the morning's coming, and the morning tells you who God is. You know, Bethlehem was packed, every room full. You all know the story. Every space taken. But the manger, the last place anyone expected, had room. Joy, when you make room, joy has space. And joy's not like asking for a lot of space. Joy's not asking for big space. Joy's not asking for perfect space. Joseph and Mary made room in this manger, smelly situation, and joy lands there and changes the trajectory of all humankind. Well, why do you say that, Greg? Because all you got to do is accept and believe that in the smallness of your space, in the smallness of what you even believe in your heart, In the circumstances that are going on in your life, like, my place isn't right. My house isn't perfect. My heart isn't even perfect. I got dark thoughts. My motives are weird. I got stuff going on in my life. I don't have space for Jesus. I don't have space for joy. Come on, Mary and Joseph showed that if you just can get into a small little space, a little straw, a little dirt, a little crap, little stuff, and it's like, in that space, joy can come. Oh, friends, that's why you got to get it, because in your straw and in your joy can come. Invite him into your stuff. Invite him into your space. You know, this song that we heard today, Joy to the World, and you know the classic version, joy to the world, the Lord is come. And then it goes, let earth receive her king. I'm going to audition for the choir right now if I keep on this pitch. Let every heart. Yeah, stop right there, because prepare him room is where we strug. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Great. Let earth receive her king. Great. Oh, third line, what's going on? Let every heart prepare him. No, I don't have room for preparing him space. I don't have room in my life. I don't have room in my schedule. I don't have room in my relationships. I got too many hobbies. I got too much debt. I got too much stuff. This is the beauty of this song. Prepare him room. Prepare him room. Prepare him space for joy to come. I mean, maybe I can illustrate it this way because this makes sense to me. A cluttered garage can't hold anything new. Not a bike, not a kayak, not Christmas decorations. It's like our lives get cluttered with noise and worry and too much activity. And it looks like a messy garage. But when we clear space, joy has somewhere to land. And maybe the application you're getting out of this today is you're going to go home and clean your garage. Great. Some of us need to do that. Make space, though, not for the decorations and the places and the kayaks and the stuff in your garage. Make room for joy to land in your life, which means possibly there needs to be let's get those distractions out of the way. Let's get those addictions off the shelf. Oh, you want to put an elf on the shelf? Yeah, fine. But let's make sure we put some room for joy to be on the shelf of our spirit, the shelf of our soul, the shelf of our life, so that we can have him be present in our lives. Come on, nudge your neighbor. That was for you. That was for you, neighbor. Here we go. Number 3. Joy spreads when we share him. Now, this is kind of a medical weird thing, but what I'm trying to say is that when that angel showed up, and the angels were the first to be able to hear the good news of great joy, that's pretty powerful. That the angel would show up to that particular group, because I was thinking, can you really trust the shepherds? Like, wouldn't it be better if you showed up to somebody else that could hark and herald and share the good news? Couldn't you shown up to the rich or the royalty? Like, show up, angel, to somebody else that you can count on. Shows up to the shepherds, which I would submit is probably the greatest group that you could trust, because they're the ones that take care of the messes. They're the ones that take care of the stunk. They're the ones that take care of all of the grinchy situations. They're the ones that take care of all the bleh. And what I love about this and what you got to catch is that joy spreads when we share him. They got the good news. They got the great joy. And what'd they do with it? They just huddled up as shepherds and say, we got the joy. It's just our joy. This is joy for just us. Shepherd Club, Shepherd Joy Club. Just for us. Just for us. Is that what they do? Is that what the shepherds did? Come on, you know the story. Joy multiplies as we carry it into others' lives. And that's exactly what the shepherds did. They didn't hoard the news, they spread the news. Joy becomes contagious when we carry it and when we give it away. This is why I joke about on my tombstone saying, he was a joy spreader. I want to be one that spreads the good news, spreads Jesus to the lost and the hurting and to the darkness that we live in. What are you spreading? Spread the good news. Let me show you a couple more verses as we bring it on home. Luke 1:44, you got joy in this one. And you know the context possibly. This is John the Baptist, the first person to rejoice in Jesus, and he's not even born yet. This is cool. We're talking like pre-born is leaping for joy in Elizabeth's tummy. Mary shows up, and the baby in Elizabeth's womb leaped for joy. Now, I apologize for all you mamas that are carrying in your third trimester, and you're like, please do not jump, kick, punch, or leap at all, because it's painful. But isn't it cool to know that John the Baptist, who will be the one to be able to be the front runner, to be able to spread the good news, share the good news, even gets it in his mama's belly. And he just like, in the presence of Jesus, already got the joy. Now, there's a whole other message right here, because even when you don't see it, experience it, and feel it, joy still should be leaping inside of us. And we know here for John the Baptist it does. And then back to Luke 2:10, I bring you good news of great joy that will be for some of the people, the ones that obey and do well and pay their taxes, that drive the speed limit and are just the ones that do everything perfect. Let me check it. I bring you good news of great joy that will be for all the people. Friends, this idea that joy isn't a feeling, joy is a proclamation. The angels shared it with the shepherds, and they took that, and then they began to proclaim it. They began to share it. They began to let others know about it. This, herein lies our commission. Spread the good news. Spread the joy of Jesus. So some of you want some application. Here it comes. Here's our application, and it's going to be very simple, but some of you are going to be really challenged with this. So buckle down. I think you can do it. Could you this week let joy interrupt you? Be open to unexpected moments of joy. A song. It's like just brings you joy. A laugh. A grandkid hug. A sunrise. Oh, wait, we don't have sunrises in right now this time of year. Let joy interrupt your life long enough to be able to catch it. When the joy moments hit, don't rush past it. Let the joy hit and stay in it and say, thank you, Jesus, for the joy in what you're showing me. Quick example. So I'm over at my son's house, and I don't even know, we were popping by, and two of his kids are 3 and 2. This is Daniel and Jane Grace. And they're over in the corner without music, without anything, and they're just in the corner, the two of them just like, I look over, it's like, why? What are you doing? Why are you doing that joy dance? What's happening? There was nothing conditional about why. They were just full of life. They were just full of zeal. They're just two siblings laughing and dancing and having the jump for Jesus just because life's good, I guess. Some of you got to get your jump back. Like, no matter the conditions, like there wasn't Christmas carols on. There wasn't pretty candles lit. There wasn't a fire in the hearth. It wasn't conditioned for the dance. It's just they're dancing. Now you say, well, Greg, I mean, your grandkids are 2 and 3. That's just what kids do. Do they? Yeah, they do. So, but I think it was more than just a happy dance. I mean, these kids are just full of joy. And that's my heart for you, that you be full of joy. That you would carry joy into your homes. Let your family see joy in your tone. Oh, watch out, Pastor Greg. Let your family see your patience. Let your family see your presence. Some of you are working way too hard. Some of you are working OT on the OT, and you just need to stop the T to be home with your family. Like, come on, show up this Christmas. It's not about working 5 jobs so that you can then have that perfect gift. The perfect gift is your presence as the gift. Now, I don't mean to minimize if there's some tough stuff happening and financially you're going for it. I applaud that. That's impressive. But if you're all just about getting more, what your kids are saying, I just want dad. I just want mom. I just want them home. I just want them to be around long enough to hug me or sit on their lap. Let your family see joy. Be the joy bringer. in the room. When you walk into a room at a party this week or at your house this week or into work this week, do you bring joy in? I'm the joy guy. I've got joy in this room. I'm the joy boy. Don't do that. What I'm saying is that when you walk into a room, is there something of joy coming out of you that doesn't require weird moves and dances? That just, he's got something. He's got the joy. She's got the joy. He's got the joy down in, what? What's happening? Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy. Yeah, well, be the joy bringer. Christ brought his joy to you so you can bring joy to others. So we're in this Advent application online through our website, and you can go to the resources page, and you can see that we have week 1 with hope, week 2 with peace, and starting today, week 3, joy. And there's family-friendly readings, and there's some questions, and there's some activities, and there's some things in there. So you just scan this code and just apply this week. Find clever ways to be able to understand and live joy more this Christmas. What about this one? Bring Christ's joy into someone's darkness this week. Does anybody know anybody that's going through a tough time? You know, a visit, a meal, a text, a prayer would go a long way. Stacy got to visit one of our friends in the hospital this last week and did communion in the hospital room with somebody. Like that's joy bringing. That's awesome. Like, what if you showed up and you brought joy to your situation? Now, this morning, as we finish it, I need my friend from Florida. He's back, Mr. Freshman, Lucas Fuller. Jump over that chair and come up here real quick. I got a gift for you. We didn't practice this. I didn't talk to him about this. But we're going to illustrate this because I can talk about this and we could share all about joy. But if you don't get it and run with it and apply it, well, then I feel like I've fallen short, Luke. And one of the coolest things, not just for me, but I think for Jesus to see in us, is that we are giving joy away. Did you see his face when he got that ornament? What college freshman puts that kind of face on for a little silly, stupid ornament? That away. How many know that it's not about giving joy ornaments to people? It's about giving Jesus to people. No take-backs. There we go. Here we go. Sometimes we do that, though, don't we? Like we give it, and they're like, well, you kind of doing pretty good with that joy. I need that joy back. Yeah. And then we take, no, you have some. We need to give joy away. We need to give Jesus away and say, go, be commissioned, joy, boy, share it with somebody else. Can you? Yeah. Will you? Yes. You're dismissed. Listen, joy isn't achieved. Joy is received. And when you get it, when you got it, then share it. Give it away to others. Share the joy. Share the Jesus. Joy doesn't wait for your life to settle. It settles you in your life. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for joy. Let joy just show up. I finished with bringing it home and bringing it back to Jesus because Jesus will be in a manger and then he's going to grow up and he's going to do miracles. And then he's going to be arrested. Not because he sped on Idlewood 9 miles over the speed limit. No, he's going to be arrested and he's going to carry a cross and he's going to carry it up to Golgotha and he's going to be crucified in a gruesome way. I set the scene to be able to suggest, where's the joy in that? Jesus didn't find joy in the event of the cross or the feelings while he was on the cross. However, he had the joy knowing the purpose and outcome of the cross. And that's why it says in Hebrews 12:2, for the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and he sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. See, even Jesus is a grown-up who goes to the cross. He's not liking that. Do you like pain? Do you like the suffering? Do you like all this situation? No. But it says that the joy set before him, wasn't the pain, but it was the purpose of the pain to redeem the rest of the world. Again, could your pain be a part of the purpose that Jesus wants to build some joy in you? And is that set before you every day? The joy set before me today. The joy is pursuing him. The joy is asking for his presence in my life. You're here today and you're like, well, I've heard about the Christmas story and I've heard about Jesus as a baby, but friends, he grows up and he comes to live and die for you and for me, which should then bring joy into our spirit because we have something that we didn't deserve. And we have something greater than we could ever come up with. Like the greatest gift you could give or the greatest gift you could receive is joy today.